There are growing concerns tonight about the nation's housing market.
He and his wife had to choose between having a baby or buying a house, and they chose to have a baby because houses are so expensive right now.
I don't think any millennials own a home without their parents' help.
It's just like, how do people save money to buy a house if you don't have family help?
So my advice for buyers right now, if you're looking for a deal, is take your time.
The sooner you can buy, the better off you're going to be.
Everybody's got something to say about how unaffordable things are right now. But today, I've got a real home I'm going to show you in Maricopa, Arizona, listed by my boy, Brian Roca. This thing is for sale right now. It's less than $360,000 with a pool in a lake community, move-in ready, ready to rock. Here's the details on the house. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways how you can actually afford this house with a total monthly payment as low as this, or even a total amount of money spent out of your pocket as low as this. And then I'm going to show you that even if you wait a year and interest rates drop, it's still more affordable to buy now than waiting a year, even if you refinance a year from now. I've included those costs as well. Let's get into it. And so here we have it. This is the 3 different loan options that I decided to come up with for this specific property. These numbers are just based on estimates, average credit scores, average interest rates. This is not a guarantee to lend. This is just showing you what real actual options are for everyday people just like you and me. I'm first going to break down the details of the FHA loan. So this is if we just do a regular FHA loan, we give them full asking price. You're looking at a down payment of $12,425. So that's not the total amount of money you're going to spend out of pocket. Your total amount of money is going to be $19,320. That includes the closing costs. So this is not asking the seller to cover anything, to cover any closing costs or do anything like that. This is simply just saying we're buying this house, we're giving you full asking, and this is the minimum down FHA loan. This is what you can expect out of pocket. You can also expect your total monthly payment to be $27.43. That is total. That includes the taxes, the insurance, all of it. So not bad, very affordable. But I want to show you how we get to this monthly payment, because this one's probably a little bit more exciting if this one's too hard to swallow. We've got $23.63 as a monthly payment. That is if we offer a higher sales price of $365,000 because we're going to ask for the seller to give us a $10,000 seller credit. We want them to pay $10,000 worth of our closing costs. And here's why. Because now we have lesser monthly payment and a total cash to close that's even a couple $1,000s less. That is because the cost to buy down the interest rate is going to be $8,157. But we have a credit of $10,000, so it lowers our overall cash to close while still giving us a lower monthly payment. Now, I want to show you how the 2-1 buy down works in just a moment. But first, I want to look at this FHA down payment assistance with the credit as well. So same idea, you can offer $10,000 above so that the seller still gets their full asking price, but we're going to ask for that $10,000 credit, but this time we're going to use it for our closing costs, and we're going to use down payment assistance to cover the difference of the closing, and that is how we end up at $0 out of pocket. So let's go back to our overview here. Check that out. No money to the table, total cash to close. Now, I want to preface this, you're probably still more than likely going to need to have some money to buy a house. There are upfront costs, such as the costs of the credit report, the appraisal, things of that nature, home inspections. So you probably want to have anywhere between, I would say, $750 to $1,000 saved up out of pocket. Pretty reasonable to buy a $355,000 house, but you'll notice that the total monthly payment is going to be higher. That's just the principal and interest. This is the total monthly payment. So now we're knocking on the door of $3,000, but it's hard to get the best of both worlds unless you know how to negotiate it. So I'll get into the 2-1 buy down and why that payment is so much cheaper in just a moment, but I wanted to show you this. So let's assume that this first scenario works great. 3.5% down, not asking for anything, no seller credits. That's a solid deal. Let's say you spent $19,320. Let's look at how equity works, right? This is based on a 10-year appreciation for this specific property. As you can see right here, it's all plugged in, and this is based on forecasted data, which we track very, very hardcore. So here's our equity snapshot. This is what you can expect to earn in equity in about 7 years with the FHA loan. And you'll notice here, these numbers are slightly different. Interesting, right? Let's say you even sold it the very next year. I mean, you pretty much recoup all of your money. It is still affordable. It makes sense. And the longer you own the home, look at this. Home appreciation, home equity is the magic maker. If you can think long term, this is where the money's made. But this is how you get in the game. If you don't have cash, I've got 0 down options. You're going to have a slightly higher monthly payment, but we will make sure you qualify for it and show you how to budget and make sure that you can afford this home. Or your monthly payment sensitive, you've got a little extra money, we've got this option for you here. Either way, it's phenomenal. We've got all kinds of options for all kinds of different home buyers. And these are just examples. You can still ask for a higher seller credit in many scenarios and lower that total cash to close on that 2-1 buy down option that I just showed you. So we've just got lots of different ways where we can keep this affordable for both your out-of-pocket costs as well as the monthly payment. Let's go ahead and dive into the 2-1 buy down. This one has a little bit different calculator, so I want to show you how this guy works because the 2-1 buy down is super cool. That's how we get that lower monthly payment, but it's not a forever monthly payment. That's just the payment for the first year that you own the home. The payment will then change year 2, and then finally year 3, it will be the same as the FHA loan that we just reviewed. But let's take a look at this 2-1 buy down calculator, and I'll show you why it still makes sense, especially if we can get the seller to pay for it. This is how they basically pay for your interest rate savings for the first few years and a future refinance, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. So here's the same details. We've got loan amount. This is even assuming a higher price, average interest rate for what we're seeing right now. So for year 1, you're going to pay 2% less, right? So that's how it brings that payment down. This is your annual savings just in interest. So you're saving $5,392. I get it. This is why everyone is waiting for rates to go down, right? But no, you're missing the whole point. You can do this now while everyone else is waiting and get it at a deal instead of waiting a year when it's more expensive. It goes up 1%. This is not an adjustable rate loan. This is a fixed rate loan based on the average interest rate. It's just lower for the first 2 years. Think of it like prepaying your interest for a couple of years, except we're having the seller pay for it. These are the strategies that we use to get you that lower monthly payment and total out of pocket less. And there's lots of different numbers we can plug into either of these. Buying homes is negotiable. Always remember that. But again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because this one's priced correctly. And so let's give them their offer. Let's give them what they're asking for. This is your savings. So the cost of this is $8,156. That's what I showed you in the previous table. But we got the credit for $10,000. And it shows us how much we need to ask for. This tells us we only need to ask for 2% concession, right? So a concession is a seller credit. That's them paying for it. This is how we win. So it's that simple. There's tons of different loan options. Homes are affordable if you just know the right strategies and the right numbers and the right loan officer to get you there. So I know what you're thinking. I'll just wait for interest rates to come down and then I'll buy a year from now or 6 months from now when rates are a little bit lower. Because everybody thinks rates are going to get lower and everyone's waiting. Let me show you when that's a bad idea. Let's use some math. Looking at the same property, comparing it buying now versus waiting a year, you would actually save $5,526 if you bought now compared to waiting a year. And that's assuming that you even refinance. This is me including the cost of a refinance and the difference in monthly payment, right? By a lower interest rate. Today, it's worth $355,000 and the rate's 6.5%. This is just based on averages, nothing official. This is just based on what we're seeing right now. Total amount of money spent. We already talked about that for the FHA loan. This is not even including if we use down payment assistance and all those great other options I talked about. This is just looking at this scenario. That number can be lower. If you wait 6 months, well, guess what? The price has gone up. We're up to $360K. And so with that, and even with a lower interest rate, you're actually going to spend a little bit more out of pocket. What? How about the monthly payment? Let's see what big of a difference that is. It's going to be a little bit lower. In fact, it'll be $150 lower, but we're going to refinance anyway. Because guess what? In 6 months, if rates do drop to 6, you can refinance. And if we wait a full year and they're less by a full percent, Yes, you'll have a lower monthly payment, but your total out-of-pocket cost increases, and that's because of the sales price. So you guys have to look at the total numbers. So even if you buy now and it's refinance a year later, it's still going to cost you $5,526 less than if you just wait a year for the lower interest rate. This is how you do things smart. And you don't have to necessarily use that total cash to close. You can use down payment assistance, get in now if you don't have the money saved. So again, just math showing you that even by waiting, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Even if interest rates got lower by 1% and you waited for a year, you're still going to spend more money out of pocket a year from now compared to buying now and just refinancing in 1 year. That's with all of those costs included in there. The math is pretty simple. So yes, home affordability is a possibility. Give us a call today. I'd be happy to look at your specific scenario to see how we can make these numbers work for you. All you got to do is let me know what your total out-of-pocket budget is. There are no wrong answers to that. As you can see, I just showed you a scenario that had 0. So if you don't have a budget for a down payment and closing costs, now is the time to strike. If you want to check out this awesome property, my boy Brian Roca is the one who's got it listed. He is an amazing real estate agent, and I know he would be happy to show you this house or any other home that you'd like to see. This is how you win in 2025 if you're trying to buy that first home. I just showed you all the options, and I can show you one for your specific scenario. If you'd like to take a deeper look at this to find out exactly what your budget is, you share with me what those numbers are. How much do you have saved up for a down payment? Total money out of pocket, everything included. What's that budget look like? As you can see here, there's no wrong answers. And then what is that monthly payment budget? If this house isn't the right fit, maybe there's another one that could be the right fit for you. It all depends on your options, and you're never gonna know until you take that loan application. So what are you waiting for? Let's get it going. The consultation is free. Even if you're not ready to apply yet, give me a call, explain your scenario, and I'll be realistic with you. I've told people before, this may not be the right fit. You might need to wait a little bit longer. That might be you, but you might be ready today, and it might surprise you what you can't afford.